morning, everybody. Welcome to EXSIN Live. I am Dave Evans, minus Phil Nichols today. But we're going to do a solo episode today of EXSIN Live. We're going to talk about people. Your people are your most valuable asset. And the reason we're going to talk about people is today. Today is my favorite day of the year because today is when training camp starts for most, if not all, college football teams in America. And if you want to know about people and what it takes to go to the next level, understand what a college football player does. I'm going to ask you a question. As a business owner, does your team have a playbook? Do they know exactly what play they're supposed to run and exactly what their role is on that play? I'm going to tell you this. 8th grade football teams have a playbook. High school football teams have a playbook. College football teams have a playbook and meetings by position every day to ensure they understand what they're supposed to do when they get on the field to do their job. Now, my guess is most of you do not have a detailed operations manual for your organization or a playbook or any training, any real training that tells your employees exactly what you expect them to do and how to do it. As a lot of you know that watch this, I'm a former Air Force pilot. An Air Force pilot has a playbook. It's called the Operational Flight Manual. It is 9 chapters of exactly what to do to fly the airplane. Moving from pre-flight, opening your store for the day, all the way to shutting down the engine. It tells you what to do when something goes wrong and how to solve it. Does your company have this playbook? If not, you're doing a disservice to your employees and they can't perform at the level you want them to perform at. Why do I say that? Because if you don't set and define expectations for people that work for you and you don't give them the tools to train them, they can never get to the next level on your team. You see, the reason Tom Brady wants to win so much is because he knows his playbook. He knows exactly what he's going to do every Sunday. He knows exactly what's expected of him. He knows what to do when coverages change. He knows what to do when the game isn't exactly what he thought it was going to be because he's trained for it. He's trained to the next level. Do you train your employees on customer service? Do you talk to them about how to handle an angry customer? Do you talk to them about how to deal with a challenge when you misdeliver something and make it easy for the customer to be successful and give them the opportunity to succeed? My guess is you don't. Do you have a cleanliness check? If you're a retail store, do you have a checklist, an hourly checklist to walk through the store and make sure things are where they're supposed to be? If you don't, you're never going to build the team you want because high-performing teams have a book that tells them what to do. They're coached by their coaches and their managers, and they know exactly what to do. Now, I'm beating this drum pretty hard, but it all goes to psychology. If you don't know what the expectations are of you and you're trying to chase an unknown, you can't get to a point of feeling you're an owner in the organization. You can't move into a position where you can make the organization better because you don't know what to do, right? And a lot of you out there are hiring people just to hire bodies and putting them in a position and hoping that they succeed. Well, I can tell you from experience, hope is not a course of action. Having a plan, having a manual, setting clear expectations is how you get your people to the level you want them to be at. Now, we've talked a lot about the 4 Ps, and we're going to get into that when Phil gets back and I get back from our road time in the next couple of weeks. But today we're going to talk about some things in here that you need to have, basic things you need to have to make sure your people, who are the lifeblood of your organization, are taken care of. So the first thing, do you have a position description for your employees? Do you have it written down for this position, what are they supposed to do? And if you do, does the person you have, their personality fit that position description? Ask yourself that question first. If you don't have that, start there. The next thing, have you created an individual development plan for each employee based on their strengths and weaknesses and where you need them to be? So if you said, this is where you're really good, and this is where you're not so good, and we're going to help you where you're not so good, and this is what I need you to do to get better here, here, and here. Do you have that written down for your employees? My guess is you probably don't. Have you established a funding stream and a budget for training and development for your employees? If you haven't, you're failing them. I can tell you we offer a $2,000 full day for 10 people training on DISC. But it's more than this. It's how do you interact with different personality types. So it helps you with employee-to-employee relationships, employee-to-manager relationships, and employee-to-customer relationships. It gives them the keys to making good communication decisions and making sure people are hearing what they say and you're listening in the right voice. Have you assessed based on the job description, have you assessed your employees to see if they fit your expectations? I can tell you, we've worked with companies and moved people around because they weren't a fit for the job they were in, moved them to another job, and they're performing magnificently. They're doing great, and the company is stronger because of it. If you have created those job descriptions, they need to be updated annually. Once a year, you need to look at your job description and go through them and update them and make sure they are where you need them to be so you can see that you're successful. Have you looked at your team and honestly assessed their skills? Do you know what each employee is good at? We talked a few minutes ago about, telling people their strengths and weaknesses, but if you don't know where they're strong and they're weak, let's start there first. So identify your employees' strengths and weaknesses to make sure they are where you need them to be. If you have a plan for your business, have you determined your organizational structure that will help you execute the plan? What kind of offense are you going to run, right? What kind of defense are you running? How are you going to put your pieces together to maximize their performance based on what you have? If you haven't seen the movie 12 Orphans, I would suggest you read it, but this is a story about a coach who brought 12 orphans together and created a state championship football team. But he took them and designed a whole new offense around them because they weren't strong where he needed them to be strong. So he built the offense to fit his team. You need to build your structure and your business plan to fit your team if you want to be successful. If you don't have those things in place, you might as well just bang your head against the wall because you'll be frustrated every day. So this is about relieving frustration. And finally, you have to, for your people, you have to have a battle rhythm for your people. What are they supposed to do? So train, execute, outbrief. Train, execute, outbrief. I would offer to you as a small business that once a month you should have an hour training with your employees. Part of that training should be, okay, last month we talked about this. These are the areas you worked on. This is where you did really well. This is where you did really bad. So you trained the first of the month. You executed throughout the month. And the first of the next month, you outbrief and train again. Get into that battle and take an hour a month to spend time with your employees to make them better. It will improve your business. Your employees will be happier because they know what your expectations are, and you will be more successful. Matt Wilson's here. This is a great question. This works for task level employees, but how do you write a procedure for how to lead and manage? Matt, that is a great question. And this is the biggest challenge for business owners. In the military, and I use it because my experiences, majority of my experiences, you become a tactical expert first. So you learn task management. Your next level up in the military or in an organization should be operational management leadership. So now that you're an expert on the task, you become an instructor and you teach the task to other people. At that time, you're being mentored to be an operational manager, right? At that point, you take the time in small groups of people you're trying to bring together and you have them work through scenarios with employees. You have them work through challenges. You discuss, this happened today, what would you do? And you get 10 or 12 of those in your hour training a month for people that you're moving to the operational management leadership phase of their job, and you talk them through that process. You let them tell you what they think they should do, how they're going to execute, and then you let the team discuss their thoughts on that idea. For us, it's a peer advisory group, right? You put your mid-level, your new up-and-coming mid-level managers in what we call a peer advisory group, and you meet once a month. That's their training. And they have scenarios that happen through the month that they discuss and go through and get better. The next step of that is moving from operational leadership to senior management or strategic leadership, where you have to think differently. The idea behind, you don't just bring somebody into your company that has no experience and make them a manager, because they are going to fall on their face. They don't understand the task level detail, and your line workers are not going to respect them. Unless they go through a training program with the line workers to learn the job and what needs to be done, they can't be effective leaders at that level. Now, if they come from another company doing the same thing, not a big deal. They have experience, they have knowledge, they have know-how. But you have to birth through the process. That's why a 22-year-old should be a manager of an organization, right? That's why young entrepreneurs struggle so hard to be successful at times because they don't have the experience to keep them from making mistakes that they should be making, that they should have made when they're a tactical employee and been corrected on the spot, right? So it's all about moving people through the system. Now, there's people that will disagree with me, and that's fine. If you don't want to win, that's your deal, right? We're winners. We build plans and things in place to help you win and succeed. Like I tell my kids, you can do it the easy way or you can do it the hard way. It's your choice, right? And the stuff I'm talking about has been proven time and time again. It doesn't matter what generation you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Become a task expert. Graduate into an instructor portion where you're teaching other people what to do, because you learn more as an instructor than you do doing the task. So they teach their employees and then move them into a mid-level management position where they've been an instructor. Now they're an evaluator and a manager, for lack of a better term. They're assessing the employees. They're assessing their instructors. They're giving feedback. They're streamlining processes because they understand what works and what doesn't. And when they're successful, you start moving them into strategic leadership in the organization. That is how you handle that. And this does work for every level. You have to birth them through the process. The reality of it is that most businesses don't understand this, especially small businesses. They feel like they don't have time to put into it. So that's why I say take an hour a month with each level in your organization, right? An hour a month with your tactical level employees, which should be your operational managers doing this. An hour a month with your operational level employees, your junior managers and mid-level managers. This should be your strategic level folks dealing with this. And then an hour a month as you, as a strategic owner of the business, the oversight of the entire business, should be in a peer group with like-minded people outside your organization to learn new things. That is how you move through the process. That is how you become successful. That is how you build a business battle rhythm that drives success and excellence, right, with your people. So I love people. I love dealing with these kind of questions and helping as much as we can. We are launching our Bold Entrepreneurs and Business Owners Mastermind peer groups. If you want to sign up, go to the website, click the button, give me a call, send me a smoke signal, we'll get you involved. You do not have to be in Oklahoma City to be a part of it. We will do them virtually as well as in person. You'll get 3 to 4 hours a month of one meeting, going through your hot topics and what you need to do, and then an hour of coaching with that. And we want to help you be a better leader and answer these questions that Matt asked today. So go out there, get ready. It is football season, and I am fired up. The Falcons, the Sooners, the Rebels, all the teams we're rooting for this year. I got a lot of them, kids all over the place. Looking forward to the excitement of seeing what these young people do and to become great and do great things. I'm very excited for you and what you're doing in your business, so do me a favor. Phil should be back next week. I will be out of here because I'm out of town. But next week, we'll talk about planning and how that goes into this and what we should do. So with that, EXSIN Live, Dave Evans, I am out of here.